going back to stories. Favorite photograph?
Favorite photograph? I got to ride the Ducati 916 in Mumbai.
Ooh,
It was a rattly, clattery bike. It had been dropped a million times, so it was in great shape.
dropped a million times.
It was one of those bikes which was bought because the owner read about this bike being awesome. It's a Ducati from that era. So the handlebar was practically on the front axle and the seat was on the first floor. So that thing was dropped in U-turns repeatedly and all the scratches were vertical like this on the bike. Right? There was a very colorful cafe at, Samudra Mahal in Worli.
Yeah.
So when you go down from Samudra Mahal, there was a very colorful cafe.
Yeah.
And they allowed us to park the bike and take a picture. So it was this bright yellow Ducati in front of this highly saturated graffiti of some sort, but not writing. It was a fresco or mural or whatever you want to call it. The colors in that, and then there's a Ducati in the front of it. I was like, wow, that looks good. And there were a couple of other pictures. There's one of me falling off the eliminator. We were riding it in the dirt below Airoli Bridge.
Yeah.
And I think I went too fast and then I hit the front brake, no ABS back in the day. Yeah. And for once, the camera person didn't put down the camera and go, oh, which has happened a lot. He was taking pictures through the whole thing. So there's pictures of me. Yeah.
So the sequence is there.
Yeah.
On film.
On transparency, yeah.
No, it's not from that standpoint. It's just that some pictures end up feeling a bit more special. It may be the light.
I remember places and situations where I had there was a Harley Davidson launch north of Barcelona at a place called Tona. What were these bikes? They were basically repainted bikes from last year with minor updates, as Harley Davidson would. But that road was so epic that it didn't matter that we were on a Harley Davidson. And there was a guy who was ahead of us who I've ridden with before. And he said, the Indians I love because when the photography stop happens, you guys don't take off all your gear and you guys are focused on your jobs. So we got the photography stops done really quickly and we kept riding. And he just rode harder and harder and harder. And yes, there were people in the group who started to fall back and we had to slow down here and there. But the guys at the front of this group who were riding fast, we were going fast. And he knew the roads, and that was at the end of their rotation. So they'd been riding this road for a month at that point or whatever, right? Between the recce's, between the previous groups that had come. So he knew the road. So he'd slow us down when the slippery sections came. He'd speed up when the fresh section. Oh my God, what a great ride.
Yeah.
So those kind of experiences I remember.
So like as moments, it's such a strange one for me, but the classic when it came out, with the UCE, that ride.
Where was it?
From Chennai up to Coonoor.
Okay, I didn't come for this.
It was such a strangely memorable ride for me. It was like the first time I went to Coonoor, but the roads were beautiful.
It's a beautiful part of the country.
And there's this one place where we stopped at on the way. It was like a village road kind of thing, narrow road, state highway kind of thingy. And we stopped outside one little, like literally a hut, shanty kind of thing where to have chai, where the group was catching up again. And the dal vada there, my God, I can't forget that dal vada. Like it was unbelievable. I have a photograph of the dal vada, I think also somewhere. But it was, and the Classic was not my kind of bike, but I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
It was like feeling a new sensation for the first time.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy that. So for me, that ride is more about a sense. It's wisps of things rather than a clear, sharp image of one moment. It's several different sensations.
Yeah.
And like Coonoor for me became a super special place after that. And I love going.
And then you still go there.
Yeah, and I'm lucky to go back again now, and I love it. But that was like the first time, and I've always thought of, man, what a lovely place.
Yeah, it really is awesome.
Yeah, so like for me, that was a special one. But in story terms, the one and this one we were together is that he spoke about doing economy a lot. This trip was extra special. We flew economy from India to Mexico City.
Oh yeah, the SLS. And we were together in the car. Is that the first time we shot together?
Yeah.
Yes, we were sharing the car, sharing the camera person. So.
Everything.
Yeah.
So it was a Mercedes SLS AMG. Full wow factor. So a lot of excitement and all of that. But we flew economy from India all the way. We stopped somewhere in Europe. Then we got to New York. And from New York, we flew to Mexico City.
And then from there to Puebla.
Yeah. And that was a flight. there was a flight,
Yeah.
and then there was a bus ride
Yeah.
to the hotel.
Yeah.
So after all of that, we got to the hotel at some 11 o'clock at night. Next morning, we were supposed to start driving at 6 a.m.
Yeah, it was nasty.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I felt like an old resort towel, just like one moment before they throw it away.
But the best part about that, and that is again, like, I can't tell you, it's a story I've told again and again.
Yeah.
We were driving the SLS, and we were together, and we'd keep swapping driving duties. And the camera person was a Brit who had
Yeah.
been living in Mexico
Yeah.
for the longest
Very
time.
senior news camera person.
So
Like he would say stuff like, "I was the first guy in Haiti after the earthquake."
Okay.
BBC guy, right? And he was contracted to film for us, and he was assigned to us.
Yeah, so he had his own van in which he had all his equipment. It was a van, like a North American style
Yeah, like a
van.
big van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had all his equipment. He was tracking from there and all of that, and we were driving. And we are driving the Carrera Panamericana, right? So
Yeah.
it's, I mean, the Pan American.
Yeah, if you want to
highway.
look up the route, it's from Puebla to Oaxaca. Oaxaca.
Oaxaca. So we're driving that road, and it's in the middle of the desert for, I mean, so many kilometers. There's just nothing around, and we're driving. And at one point, he's tracking with the shoot is going on, and we come to this small little village.
Yeah.
It's maybe not even village. It would be maybe 10 houses or something like
Yeah.
that. And we just park on the side of the road. He parks, we follow behind him, and we stop. And as we get out of the car just to stretch, I think we had been wanting to swap places or something, because we had walkies, so we were radioing and all of that. We get out of the car, we're just stretching. From the opposite side, we see,
And that's behind me, so I'm not aware of this. He is.
I can see, right? So we've gotten out of the car, I'm looking that way, and from that side comes a column of Humvees. Okay, column might be an exaggeration, but there were at least 4 or 5, because they come. One comes, parks in front of the van. The other comes, parks next to the van, next to the car. Then, like this, basically they form a circle around us. The Humvee has turrets at the back with mounted machine guns and soldiers in all of them.
And they pointed at us at this point.
And as soon as they park the vehicles, the soldiers jump out and form a cordon around us. And I still think of that as such an incredibly stupid thing to do. The soldiers come and form that cordon around us, and I'm just like, wow, Humvee, soldiers, guns. And I take out my phone and I pick it up like that to take a photo of the soldier standing next to the Humvee, and the soldier just goes. He drops the gun down and points it at me. I'm like, okay, I get that message. No need for translation. I put my phone back. He takes his gun back. So like that, I mean, I can't forget that, man. That drive was spectacular.
Yeah, it
No
was.
two ways, but this, just because of that, and I missed that photograph. But yeah,
That's okay.
Alive to tell the tale.
That's okay. Yeah. No, in the process of all of these delays, when we went to the place where we were supposed to have lunch, the place had shut.
Oh, the tomato rice.
So he took us to effectively a Mexican dhaba, right?
Yeah.
And the food, oh my God, it was
Oh
so
man.
good.
Yeah, that tomato rice was just unbelievable.
I had more interesting food than that, but yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was fantastic.
Oh, I misunderstood. You were looking for me the last time, not Karthik. Okay, no worries. I am also on the main motoring channel.